Welcome to this week's Raw Recap. As always in these recap videos, we go over everything you're going to need to know about this important episode of WWE. I give my thoughts on the entire show and I rate it at the end of the video, but throughout the video I let you guys know everything that you need to know and really what the main takeaways were from this episode of Raw. But before we get anywhere into the video, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go follow the socials, which includes my Instagram account and my X account. The links to those are in the description of this video or any video. But as always, you guys can leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get right on into today's Raw Recap. Alright, so we kicked off the show with the OTC, Roman Reigns, man. And honestly, I actually really enjoyed this segment. So Roman Reigns comes out and he pretty much just feeds into the fans, because obviously the fans, they're chanting, obviously, the whole Roman Reigns chants and OTC. They chanted that for a good few minutes, actually. But then we finally got down to business, and really the main thing that you want to take from what Roman said is, he says that he pretty much has lost a lot from, since last year to now, and he says that's primarily thanks to the Vision. He says he doesn't have a bloodline, and then there's more than just that, but that was one of the things that he had said. But then eventually we do have Paul Heyman come out, and really there's nothing really that Paul Heyman said that was super groundbreaking, but he also came out with Bronson Reed, which is who Roman is facing at Clash in Paris. Now, we will go over what Bronson Reed had to say, because after Paul Heyman got done saying what he needed to say, he handed the mic over to Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed basically says that the difference between our tribes is yours is civilized and mine is not. And he compares their tattoos. He says that Roman's were bought while his were earned. And then it gets noted that Bronson Reed is actually Samoan, and then that topic interprets what Roman Reigns says after that, because Roman Reigns says, I didn't even know this guy was Samoan. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't either. But then he says, well, since we're in the same family, I own you. Obviously, he's the tribal chief, and I thought that line right there was funny as hell, in my opinion. And then he says, well, for that reason, well, then why don't you bring your big ol' ass down here? This is exactly what he said. And then return my shoes. Obviously, Bronson Reed does have the shoe La Fala. He's stolen 2 pairs of Roman shoes. So Roman says, give me my shoes back. Apologize to me. Apologize to these people. And just overall apologize for wasting our time. And, basically just acknowledge me, basically, is kind of what Roman Reigns was trying to get across there. And then what Bronson Reed does, he gives the shoe La Fala over to Paul Heyman. And then Bronson Reed says, "Oh, Roman, you don't want me to come down there." And then after that, Roman says, "Fine, he doesn't have to come down here. I'm just gonna go up there." And then we break out into a big old brawl. I honestly felt like the brawl could have been a lot more intense and suspenseful, but it really wasn't. It wasn't like a great brawl, but it was still cool to see, at least. I mean, I enjoyed it, and honestly, I really can't wait for this match at Clash in Paris. I think it's going to be good. Just for this brawl, and specifically, I mean, it was just okay, but the promo part of this was actually pretty good, in my opinion. So overall, I do think this was a good opener, and I mean, yeah, it wasn't bad at all, and honestly, I really, for the most part, enjoyed it. Alright, and next up, we jumped into a banger of a match, in my opinion, man. We jumped into Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough. This match was a good back and forth, and man, there was a few spots in this match where I thought, man, that guy has got to be injured. I will say for damn sure there was a spot where Dragon Lee was going for a powerbomb, but that shit did not look like a powerbomb. That looked like an absolute powerbomb pile driver to JD. It looked like JD landed on his head, man. Luckily he didn't, but man, that thing looked pretty freaking brutal, man. But overall, dude, this match was so great. Loved that there was a bit of a back and forth in this match, which I loved. And overall, man, star power and just moves were just overall awesome in this match. So honestly, man, I really enjoyed this match. But obviously we did have some shenanigans. We had Dominic Mysterio. He comes out. He pulls down Dragon Lee, and then he stops him from attacking JD. But then AJ Styles comes out from the crowd and attacks Dominic, and then they go out in the crowd. We don't see any more of them. We go back over to the match, and then inevitably Dragon Lee actually does pick up the win here. But man, I was actually not expecting Dragon Lee to win. Inevitably, I did have JD McDonough winning this one, but he didn't, which is fine. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that, man, because this match was just overall so good in my opinion, and I really freaking liked it. I think this match was just overall freaking fun to watch, and it was absolutely awesome to witness, man. But inevitably, Dragon Lee does pick up the win here. Alright, and next up we jumped in to Penta versus Kofi Kingston, and as you'd expect, I mean, it's just not a good match. I mean, there's just nothing really important about this feud, in my opinion, and honestly, this match just, it's just not that good. It's nothing special at all. If you missed this match, you didn't miss much. It's really one of those, man. It's really been like this with this entire feud, man. I do not like where Penta's at right now. I think Penta needs to be going after championships, not really dealing with the New Day. He's dealing with them week after week, and we're really not getting anywhere in this feud, so I don't even know why we're continuing it. I mean, at least he's getting showtime, or at least he's getting at least on screen, but like still, man, at least give him something good, man. But man, that's really my only thoughts on this. I just don't care for the match. But as far as who wins, Kofi Kingston does pick up the win here. Honestly, I wanted Penta to win if we were, I would have preferred Penta to win. Kofi instead picks up the win. But honestly, man, I don't care for this match. It's not very good, and I just don't like the feud, honestly. It's just not a good feud, honestly. Oh, man, it honestly kind of sucks to see Penta doing this week after week instead of a lot other things that he could be doing that are more enjoyable. But man, that's really my only thoughts on this. Alright, now I don't usually cover like backstage segments, but I feel like this one was actually very important, and it revolves around the Women's World Championship. I actually just did a video on this, but this segment did clarify a little bit more. We had Adam Pearce telling Stephanie that obviously Clash in Paris cannot happen, but he says that yes, she is the #1 contender for the title, and that he will find her an opponent in the next week to go up for the Women's World Championship. So I just really figured I'd throw that out there because that is something that determines a future champion in the WWE. So I figured that was actually really important to include in the recap. So I was just throwing that out there. Honestly, I don't really know who her opponent's going to be. The first person that comes to mind is freaking Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. Those are like the first people that come to mind. Hopefully that's not the case. But honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. But like I said, figured I'd throw that in there because it is pretty important. Alright, and next up, man, we jumped into a freaking banger promo. I will say, before we do talk about it, or talk about some of it, man, this is a promo that you guys definitely should watch if you have not, to really get a feel, man. I feel like this is a promo that you really have to get a feel for, that you really have to see to really understand, honestly. But it was the Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella promo, man. We started off hot with this promo, and we ended off hot with this promo, man. Holy, was this a good ass promo. We start off with Becky Lynch. She comes out and she basically just shit talks on Birmingham and the UK in general. But then finally, she does say that, she's not just some sort of dog, and she's not gonna just come out here whenever Nikki Bella wants her to. And then Nikki Bella comes out and then tells Becky, well, Becky, if you're not a dog, you sure are acting like a little bitch. I thought that line was funny as hell. And man, there was a lot more than just that, obviously, man, but there was a lot of great things said in this freaking promo, man. But man, they had a great back and forth. Like I said, there was so much that these two women said to each other, so many important things, man. This is a promo I highly recommend going to watch back. I probably will go watch it back myself. I kind of wish I wrote notes. It's not like I forgot. It's just something that, man, you can definitely understand better if you really watch this promo. But I mean, I feel like if I explain it, explain everything that they said, I feel like I might mess up a few things. And this is a promo where you really want to fully understand it, in my opinion. So definitely recommend going back and just watching this. You can just go watch it on the WWE YouTube, I'm sure, or something, man. But definitely recommend going back and watching this one. But overall, man, Oh man, this promo was so freaking good, and one thing that is the main takeaway is that we will have we will have Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella at Clash in Paris for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So that is one of the major takeaways here. But overall, man, great promo, absolutely loved it. But definitely go back and watch it. Alright, next up we jumped in to Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez, and honestly, as far as this match goes, I would not call this match bad, but I also wouldn't call it good. I would go as far as to say it was decent, just because this match really didn't have me super intrigued, in my opinion. There was just nothing really that I truly looked forward to in this match, but honestly, like I said, it was nowhere close to bad, but it also just did not hit that extent of being good, in my opinion, but it was at least decent for sure. As far as who won this match, we did see Rhea Ripley actually did pick up the win here with a Riptide on Roxanne Perez. Of course, in the post-match, Raquel Rodriguez does come in and they start beating up Rhea Ripley, but eventually Io Sky does come out and help out Rhea Ripley, and then that's really the end of that, and then that is the end of the match and the segment there. But like I said, this match was definitely decent, just not good, but it was not bad either. I mean, it just did not have it just did not fully intrigue me. If it fully intrigued me, honestly, this match probably would be good in my opinion, just for me at least. It wasn't good, but it was damn well decent for sure. But like I said, inevitably, Rhea Ripley does pick up the win, and at the end of the match, we do see Io Sky, and she helps out Rhea Ripley from being attacked by the Judgment Day. Alright, and next up we jumped in to AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, and I gotta be honest, the match was not bad. It's just, we could have seen so much better from these two, which is why I do have to put this match at decent, at least for me, because, like I said, it was not bad, but it's just, this match could have been so good. I just feel like they didn't bring their A game in this match. And that's not to say any superstar in this match performed badly. Like I said, that's not the case. It's just, I know these two can perform a 5-star match, and that's not what this was. And which is, I mean, it's fine. It's not like the match is bad, and I still enjoyed the match. It's just, I know it could have been a lot better. But inevitably, in this match, we did see AJ Styles win this one. He won off of a Styles Clash, of course. But I mean, like I said, the match had some good stuff take place in it. It's just, I know it could have been so much better if they actually allowed them to do so. Obviously they didn't tonight, but I mean, it's all good, honestly. I'm just happy to see AJ Styles continuously be on TV, honestly. But like I said, I do put this match at decent, and like I said, AJ Styles does pick up the win here. Alright, and we have finally now reached our main event of the night, man. This was a good main event, but for a go-home, it definitely should have been a lot better. We did have LA Knight versus Braun Breaker. As you can expect for the match, yes, it was good. Of course, though, we did have some shenanigans. So we do have Seth Rollins come out at the end of the match. Actually, before the match even ended, Seth Rollins does come out, acts like he's going to come in and attack LA Knight. He doesn't. He just taunts LA Knight. And then eventually, Braun Breaker is able to pick up the win. I honestly kind of felt like this match either should have ended with LA Knight winning or a DQ. But I guess Braun Breaker winning is fine as well. But yes, he does hit him with that spear. And then he does pin LA Knight. And then we do see a beatdown on LA Knight, but then we do see Jey Uso come out, and then of course we also see CM Punk come out. And then it's just kind of like a whole big thing from there. Eventually, though, LA Knight, CM Punk, and Jey Uso all stand tall, but there's still more that continues. LA Knight and CM Punk have a little back and forth, and they eventually start fighting each other. And then eventually, Jey Uso does hit LA Knight with a super kick, and then he acts like he's gonna be cool with CM Punk. But then he super kicks CM Punk as well, and inevitably, Jey Uso does stand tall. But man, I think this main event, definitely, it was not bad. It was actually good in my opinion. It's just, like I said, for a go-home, it just did not feel as special. I feel like last week's main event with these guys was just so much better. I think it was last week at least. Was it last? Man, I think it was last week. Man, for a go-home, this was definitely not as good as it probably should have been. But I mean, it's all good, man. At the end of the day, we are going to have a banger match at Clash in Paris, man. But the main takeaway here is, Braun Breaker does pin LA Knight, and then inevitably Jey Uso does stand tall after all the shenanigans. That's really the main takeaways here. And then, like I said, man, cannot wait for that match at Clash in Paris. But that's really all there is for our main event of the night. Alright everybody, we have now reached the end of the video. I do hope you guys did enjoy. As far as this episode of Raw, I do think it was actually... do I say good or decent? you know what? I'm gonna go good on this episode of Raw, man. It really was not bad at all, but I will go good on this episode of Raw. Just a few things that definitely could have been fixed, so it's definitely not great. But it was good for sure. But leave me all your thoughts down in the comments below on this episode of Raw. But before we do get out of here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, go follow the socials. Once again, that includes Instagram and X. Those links to those are in the description of this video. You can go follow those, do all that. Helps me out a ton, man. But like I said, leave me all your thoughts down below. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.